Welcome to another episode. Today's question is the question asks whether you should follow spirituality or normal life, or you can balance both in equilibrium. So, one exclusive of another. The spirituality is not away from life. You understand spirituality through relationships, through your daily behavior. You can move away into a cave, live alone, but still, whatever you have in your mind will follow you there. You can't escape that. You are still going to be there. Your mind is still going to be there. So it is understanding your mind, finally find it is merely thoughts and putting it into a place. You can do it among your family, among the crowd. You are not necessarily alone. Being alone may make it more difficult, or you may never realize it. So it is understanding life as a whole, and you can't escape from your daily activities. Whether you are in the world or alone living in a mountain, you have to have your daily food, upkeep your body, maintain your body, breathe, eat food. So all this has to happen, and there should be some resources for it. So you can't escape from that. Of course, the burden is more if you are living in the world. But spirituality is understanding about that, going beyond that, living a harmonious and whole life, complete life. So let us see what Krishnamurti says about this. He says spiritual, that which is spiritual is timeless. Whatever activities of the mind is within the framework of time. It is the result of time. Whatever you do in the world, your daily activities, or you want to become a monk, you go with an ideology, and play around with the mind, though you may call it being in a higher plane, but still that is the result of the time. You may have a different experiences what others are not having, but still it is within the field of experience. So it is the movement of the mind. But spirituality is the timeless. The ceremonies, the dogmas are not spiritual. That's what he says. And it can be experienced by a mind which has no motive. The mind that is capable of not asking, of not seeking, completely nothing. So that is what he calls spirituality. So he says, it does not mean putting a loincloth and having little or no shelter. It means cutting oneself away from all acquisitiveness. It means not being greedy, not being ambitious, not pursuing power. So there is no me becoming something or either worldly spiritual. So it is moving away from the sense of me. It is not building up the me. In spiritual world it is much more. The spiritual pride that you are holier than others, and other prides will come in your way. Much more worse than the pride in the world. So it is not that. It is moving away from building up the me, dissolving the me. That's what Krishnamurti says. So that is what is really spiritual. That can be done in the world. And then Osho in his absolute Tao says God is total. The so-called spiritual people, for them, the God is not total. Their God is just an abstraction, an idea, what they read in the book. A thought, however pure it may be thought, it is still a thought, and there is no life in it. So he simply says that kind of spirituality has no life. So he says you can achieve a spirituality when you have a whole integrated life. The body, soul, the world and the God. Integrated life where no division exists. It is not compartmentalized. So that you are courageous, that even a sinner can exist side by side with the saint in you. You are not afraid because you understand the reality. When your sinner and saint come closer and closer, one day they become one. You have become holy. That's how he defines holy. He says he does not bother about growth. Growth will take its own course. Just live in the moment. He does not bother about spirituality. Just be total. Spirituality will take care of itself. It will come. It is a flowering, not a discipline. When one is total, life flowers, and that flowering is spirituality. Spirituality is not an attitude. It is not a discipline. It is an outcome of life lived totally, joyfully, delightfully. Of a life of no complaint, of a life lived courageously. Then this flowering happens. So Osho says it is not a outcome of a discipline, a result born out of hard work, but it is a flowering. You don't make a flower to flower. It automatically flowers when the time comes. When the growth happens, when the bud matures, it flowers. So if you live a life completely, courageously, intensely, wholly, then the spirituality flowers. You can't force it to flower. So that is what is spirituality. It can exist, coexist along with the life. Not even coexist. It is the life in which you live, which is in relationships, when it flowers. So it is not shutting yourself away from this crowd. So with this, we will end this episode. Stay with me for another episode. Subscribe to my channel. Share this video. Thank you.